The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some independent Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some independent Optavia coaches. Optavia makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with Optavia results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the Optavia income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
My name is Shirley Mast, and I'm a certified Optavia coach, and I'm just delighted that you've joined us for this call, whether you're listening live or listening to the recording later. Kudos to you for choosing to make your health a priority and for choosing to invest in your health in this way. Now, some of you are on this call and you don't even know what the topic's going to be about tonight, but maybe you may have seen a video that was kind of floating around today on Facebook where I kind of gave a teaser for this, and I said that the topic this evening was one of my favorites because I think this particular habit is the simplest thing to do. It's the most economical thing you can do, and it really works. So some of you are just showing up because you kind of want to know what that's going to be. So let's go dive right into that. We are going to be talking this evening about the key role of hydration in reaching a healthy weight. Now, some of you are already at a healthy weight. Is hydration still important? You betcha. In fact, some of you came to our program already at a healthy weight, but maybe you were looking for better sleep or learning how to respond to stress differently. And so for you, weight loss was not a high priority. But is hydration still important for you? Absolutely. So we're going to be referring to element 10 in Dr. A's LifeBook, and this is the book that is used by all of our clients in our program. And for those of you that are already our clients in our program, I hope you're digging into this, because I got to tell you, this has been, what you're learning in here has been absolutely transformative in my life. And what you're going to learn this evening about hydration was something that made a significant difference for me personally. I came to this program weighing almost 400 pounds. And at that point, drinking water was like way low on the priority list. Okay, like it wasn't even on the priority list. I was probably lucky if I drank 8 ounces of water on any given day. Now, I drank a lot of other things. Okay, I drank coffee, of course, you know, because you can't live without coffee. And I drank a lot of diet soda, okay, but very, very little water. And really overall, even if you added up all of the hydration that I had in a day, it still wasn't very much. And so this was one of the very first habits that I learned, and it has changed so many things in my health. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that this evening. Actually, well, you know what? We'll get to wait till I get to the next slide, because I want to hear from you all a little bit as well. So we're going to be talking this evening really about some of the factors that you're going to want to pay attention to as you're reaching a healthy weight, or for those of you that are already there, a lot of these factors will be important for you too. And also figure out why water is so very important on your journey to optimal health. I mean, it's been a long time since I've lost my weight. My water bottle is still here and handy. My water bottle goes everywhere with me because I figured out how important hydration is to my health and how I feel. We're going to also talk about the best ways to hydrate during weight loss and beyond, and then also give you the tools to get there. So who's excited? You ready to roll on this? I'm excited. I'm excited enough for all of us. So we're going to have a good time. Okay, so here's the thing. Water is a really critical component in your body. It makes up between 55 and 60% of your weight. And I'm going to go just a little bit into the science of this because, frankly, I find it to be fascinating, and I think you will too. And I'm going to sound really smart as I share some of this stuff with you because I'm like reading out of my life book, okay? And it has a really smart author, okay? The physician who wrote this was the 10th board certified critical care physician in the country. He knows his stuff, okay? So for those of you that haven't met Dr. A yet or haven't gotten to read any of his works, check this out. Actually, I'll put a plug in for this book. If you are not a client of our program yet, you can get a hold of this book too. So talk to whoever invited you onto this webinar. They can help you out. They can hook you up with this. So anyway, back to the water thing. Water plays a really key role in supporting health, particularly during weight loss, because it helps to remove toxins and other unhealthy substances that are stored in your fat cells. And in my case, I was losing a lot of fat cells, okay? A lot of toxins went with that. So being well hydrated helps all of your body organs and systems to function properly. In fact, every function in your body takes place in water. I'm a registered nurse. I took biochemistry. I can vouch for this, okay? So water is that solvent that moves all the nutrients through your system, the hormones, the antibodies, and oxygen through your bloodstream. Okay, this is important stuff, guys. Water is important. And of course, it's essential to your kidneys. You probably already figured that out, because your kidneys really need to be able to filter and eliminate all those metabolic byproducts and toxins. And here's the thing. If all of that didn't convince you to drink water yet, stay tuned for this one. It has a slight gross out factor, okay? But if you don't drink enough water, your body is in essence forced to recycle dirty water, which is kind of a, like that's kind of a tough thing to consider. So the point of that, folks, is drink water. Now, the question is, how much water do you drink? Okay, well, we would recommend drinking 64 ounces of water, just straight water every day. Now, of course, talk with your healthcare provider, especially if you're taking medications or you have any other healthcare conditions. But for most people, drinking 64 ounces a day is what we'd recommend, and some may want to drink more than that. You might see people in the chat box who are saying that they're drinking considerably more than that. Don't take that as counsel for you, okay? Talk with your healthcare provider about what's appropriate for you. But certainly that's 64 ounces of water, unless your physician's restricted your water intake for some reason. And I'll tell you, for me personally, for somebody who went from drinking maybe 8 ounces of water a day to somebody who uses a 32-ounce water bottle and refills it a couple of times, okay, that was a big switch. That was a big switch for me. But I'll tell you, when I started this program, and some of you might be at the same place that I was then, okay? When I got started and I thought, I'm not drinking all that water. I don't even really like drinking water, right? Okay, I'm not gonna ask you to put a 1 in the chat box if that's you, okay? You could just blink your eyes at me, okay? But some of you might be at that point where you're saying, my word, I don't even like drinking water. I would just rather drink coffee, and I get that. We'll get to the coffee thing later. But the thing is, what you're gonna find is you'll start to feel better. Your body will function better when you've got the extra fluid on board. And so that was one of those things, one of those habits I picked up early on. When I realized this program was going to work for me, and I figured that out very early on, about 2 weeks in, I thought, oh my word, I'm going to lose all of this weight. It was kind of cool. And I got really serious about learning everything that you're learning about here in this LifeBook. And one of those things was building the habit of drinking water. So for somebody who's used to only drinking 8 ounces, it required real discipline. I mean, really, kind of like, well, I don't know what Dr. A will say about this, but I'll tell you, when I was a kid and I was supposed to eat something or drink something that was good for me, my mom would just say, just hold your nose and eat it, okay? All right? Well, that's kind of the principle that I applied to drinking water at first. It's like, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to drink it like one would take medicine. And here's the cool thing. I discovered that the more I got used to drinking water regularly, the more I liked the taste of it, okay? Put a 5 in the chat box if you've had that experience, okay? The more you drink water, the more you like, yeah, look at all those 5s popping in, okay? The more you learn to like the taste of that, and the more your body craves it. So for those of you who are at the point that I was at when I first started, that's your encouraging word. Dive into this, my friends. You can do this, because really, it's a really simple habit to build. Okay, so why is water important? Well, first of all, if you're interested in losing weight, water is calorie-free. Ta-da! Who wants that, right? Okay, calorie-free. Here's the other thing. Drinking water will tend to keep you from overeating. All right, and here's why. And I find even, my word, I lost my weight between like August of 2010 and like finished it up by the beginning of like the early 2012. So it's been a long time since I went through the weight loss phase. But I find that even now, there are times when I think, oh my goodness, I'm hungry. And then I think, no, you just ate about 45 minutes ago. You aren't hungry. What's the deal? And I realized that I haven't had enough water yet to drink today. So the thing is, the body will sometimes perceive thirst as hunger. Okay, does that make sense? So in other words, your body is actually thirsty, but what it feels like to you or the way it's perceived is that you're hungry. And I'll tell you, when in that situation, grab myself a 16-ounce water bottle, drink it, takes care of everything, okay? I'm feeling better and not as hungry. Plus, it will also tend to help fill you up, okay? So if you're feeling a little hungry, put some water down, that'll help. Okay, like we talked about before, water is going to help facilitate the removal of toxins. That's, of course, a good thing. I won't go into the science on that. I'll let you check that out, both in the LifeBook and then also in Dr. A's Habits of Health. He goes into more depth on that. You could go learn about that in there. It also prevents dehydration. Okay, now we all know dehydration is not a good thing, but I think there's an awful lot of people who go through life chronically dehydrated. And I was one of them. Before I got healthy, I was one of them. I mean, for somebody who's weighing close to 400 pounds and only drinking 8 ounces of water a day, that's not enough water to drink, okay? And when you're dehydrated, here's what you're gonna find. Like some of the signs of dehydration, one might be that you feel like you kind of have a brain fog, you're just feeling sort of fuzzy, okay? Or you might feel a little headachy, or you might find that maybe you're feeling kind of tired, or you'll find that your urine's getting dark, okay? And your urine should ordinarily be pretty clear if you're hydrated well enough. So if you're finding any of those things are true, you may want to try increasing your water intake. So I know if there's a day that I'm feeling like I'm a little bit headachy, I'll do a quick water check. Have I had enough to drink today? Have I had as much to drink as I would ordinarily drink, okay? Which ties right into the minimizing or eliminating fatigue. That's a dehydration factor, okay? It'll also speed up metabolism, okay? If you're trying to lose weight, who would like to have their metabolism go faster, okay? And actually there's some thought on if you drink cold water, it will actually pick up your metabolism rate. Now I'll tell you, we're coming into the winter months. Those of you that live in the South, okay, I get it. It's not getting any colder for you, but I live in Pennsylvania. It got really cold today. That's why the fireplace is on behind me. So when I go into the winter months, I don't really want to drink cold water. I'm drinking this is all room temperature water. Drink the water at whatever temperature you want, but if you drink it cold, it will tend to speed up your metabolism. It also helps your liver convert fat into energy. Of course, that's a plus. And also compensates for the loss of the glycogen stores as you lose weight. So all of those are really, really good reasons to lose water, to drink water, right? So now, okay, we've hopefully established, yeah, this is important, okay? Now, here's the thing. 40% of Americans will drink less than half of the recommended water intake for the day. Isn't that something? Okay, and actually, you know, a lot of people like this. And I find a lot of times when I'm helping somebody get started on their journey to health, and I'm asking them questions about this, typically they will say one of two things, okay? They will usually say to me, oh, I don't drink water. I drink coffee or soda or whatever, okay? Or they'll say to me, bless their hearts, oh yeah, I drink a lot of water. And I say, well, tell me, how much water do you drink? Oh, well, I have a 16-ounce water bottle, and I'm getting ready to hear them say that they fill it up 6 times, and they say, and I drink 2 of those every day. And I'm thinking, oh, sweetie, that's great, but it's still not really enough yet, okay? So, and I know in my case, it just really hadn't occurred to me that it was really that important to drink the water. So, or a lot of people will say, well, I don't really get thirsty during the day. But guys, if you're waiting until you get thirsty to drink, you are way past the point of where your body needed the water. Okay, once you get up to that place where you're actually having the sensation of thirst, you're beyond, your body is really, really needing the water. So don't wait till you get to that point. So you might be saying, okay, that's great, Shirley. You've got me convinced. I need to drink water. I know how much I need to drink. Now, what do I drink? Well, I'm so glad you asked that. So when you start thinking about healthy hydration options, you've got a lot of choices, okay? For a lot of you, the tap water that comes out of your sink, especially if it's filtered or has all the, has the impurities cleaned out of it, is perfectly great to drink. I know where we live, I'm just drinking it straight out of the tap. We have a filter and I drink it straight out of the tap, okay? But you might prefer purified water, or you might like bottled water like this. It's great for convenience, okay? Maybe you prefer reverse osmosis water, tea, as long as you aren't adding sugar or cream to it, okay? Coffee, now my friends, I got good things for you on coffee. Coffee could be a great option. Actually, here's the thing. How many of you are coffee drinkers? A 1 in the chat box if you're a coffee drinker and the day does not start without your coffee. Okay, yeah, I knew there'd be a lot of people, okay. A 2 in the chat box if you've heard that coffee is a diuretic, okay, that it's gonna deplete water out of your system. Yep, there's a lot of 2s rolling in, okay. So, and I grew up thinking this. In fact, I was taught this in nursing school, that coffee was a diuretic, okay. I have good news for you guys. I have good news for you, all right. Turns out, and it's right here in your life book, you can check it out later. It's in here on page 208. You can hear it from the expert himself. But I'm going to read it to you because for you coffee drinkers, this is going to be a wonderful tidbit of news, okay? Studies have shown that there's benefits to drinking coffee, more than just the fact that it wakes you up in the morning, okay? It has high level of antioxidants. It also has been proved that it can decrease depression, reduces the risk of some cancers, and may help you live longer. And it may also slow down cognitive decline. That's good for me, I'm getting older. Boost the mood, increase stamina, and even protect against adult diabetes. Okay, how cool is that? How many of you are happy about this? Yes, I'm seeing all the yay for coffees coming in the chat box, okay? And coffee and tea are not diuretics. Here's what Dr. Ace has to say about this, okay? Actually, I'm not going to read all the details on that, but you can check that out. Again, that's on page 208. Here's the thing. There was a study that was done long time ago, not very well substantiated, but well publicized, that coffee is a diuretic. And so, and by a diuretic, we mean something that's going to deplete water out of the system, okay? Not true. You can drink your coffee. Now, I'm not suggesting you drink 14 cups a day, but a cup or 2, yes, go ahead and enjoy that. I will give you this one tip on the coffee though. I find that for me, it is really helpful, and this is a tip I learned from Dr. Anderson. It's really helpful for me if in the morning, first thing when I get up, I drink 16 ounces of water. Okay, I'm drinking it again out of the tap, but this bottle's an easy one to show, okay? So I'm drinking about 16 ounces of water before I drink my coffee. Now, it's not that coffee's a diuretic and you've got to replace it. It's just that for some people, when you're drinking coffee on an empty stomach, that caffeine can kind of give you an unpleasant caffeine buzz, like a little jittery, a little wired, okay? But drinking 16 ounces of water before that first cup of coffee will help to take away that feeling, which is a real plus, right? Because nobody really likes that crazy buzz, okay? And so for me, I'll have the water first, okay? Drink the coffee. If I decide I would like to have a second cup of coffee, because some days are like that, I'll have another 16 ounces. I mean, personally for me, that's a good fit because I tend to feel better, okay? So how many of you are glad you got on this call just because you got good news about coffee, right? Yay for no diuretic, okay? You might also find that you like calorie-free infused water. You could do like slice up an orange in your water. That is okay if you're in the weight loss phase. Put slices of oranges in the water, or slices of cucumbers, or slices of lemons. Don't eat the cucumber. I mean, the cucumbers are okay. Don't eat the oranges, okay? Those aren't appropriate on plan, but the flavoring is okay. The other thing that I'll tell you too, for those of you that are familiar with our program, I have my own little show and tell here, okay? We have our Purposeful Hydration line. So there's 4 different flavoring packets that you can add into your water. And it's something that I really like to use. I don't know if it'll be a good fit for you, but you might want to talk with your coach or whoever invited you on this call about this. So I know for me, the Purposeful Hydration packets are not only a flavoring that I really like, and its contents and ingredients that I trust, but it also helps me track my water throughout the day. Okay, so for me, I use a 32-ounce bottle because I don't have to drink as many of those. If you have to drink if you have to drink a bunch of 8-ounce bottles of water, that's a lot to count, but I can easily count how many here. And I will put one of these packets. I mean, you can infuse them into like 16 ounces. Personally, I put them into a 32 ouncer and I think it tastes great, but I use it to track my water intake. So for me, I like to drink 3 of these a day. Again, that may not be appropriate for you. Talk with your healthcare provider, okay? But I'll put one of these, I'll put the orange flavoring because I love the vitamin C in the morning and I love the orange in the morning, okay? So if it gets to be 10 o'clock in the morning and my water bottle still tastes like orange, I know I'm a little bit behind on my water because usually by that time I want to be started on my second bottle, okay? So my second bottle has the B active in it, so it's going to taste for me like raspberry or like lime, okay? So again, if it gets to be 4 o'clock in the afternoon and my bottle still tastes like raspberry or lime, I know I'm behind on my water because by 4 o'clock in the afternoon I want the replenish and I'm using that one. So that might be a fun tip for you guys to use. I'm seeing some of these people commenting in here about liking those, so that might be a fun option for you. Okay, so that gives you enough for healthy hydration. All right, I better keep moving here. I'm having way too much fun. So you might wonder, okay, is there anything I should not drink? And I'll tell you, the first thing on this list might come as a shocker to you, okay? But an unhealthy hydration options. The first one is fruit juices. Now, here's your disclaimer. Fruit is good for you. Okay, now if you're in the weight loss phase, you're not using fruit right now, but you will when you get to your healthy weight and you get beyond the weight loss phase. But for me now, yes, I enjoy fruit, but I want to be able to chew it, taste it, okay? Like when I was a kid, we used to pour orange juice glasses that were probably 16 ounces. Okay, well that's like probably 3 or 4 servings, okay? That's a lot of oranges that you could put down in a very, very short period of time, okay? You would never eat that many oranges in one sitting. So fruit juices can be pretty tricky in that you put a lot of calories down really fast without noticing it. And some of those fruit juices will have additional sugar in them. So avoid the fruit juices. Feel the same way about smoothies for the same reason. Sodas, that's a no-brainer. I don't think anybody would assume that a sugared soda is good for you. So I'm not even going to go into detail on that. The almond milk, the coconut milk, flax milk, we would not recommend. Now, you could use almond milk on our program as creamer in your coffee, so in very small quantities, but not for regular hydration, okay? Diet sodas, again, in some ways better than a sugared soda in that you don't have all the calories, but you have an awful lot of artificial in there that's not really beneficial for you. So, maybe you have a diet soda on a rare occasion, every month or so, okay? But not on a regular basis. Energy drinks, again, I think most people know energy drinks just not very healthy for you. Sports drinks, the same thing. Alcohol's kind of a tricky one as well, okay? Certainly during the weight loss phase, we do not recommend alcohol. It's going to sabotage your results. We don't recommend that during the weight loss phase. But once you get beyond the weight loss phase, you may find that you want to enjoy an occasional glass of wine. And there are some benefits to red wine. But alcohol is a diuretic. You know how we said coffee is not? And alcohol will have a diuretic effect, will tend to dehydrate you. So we would recommend that if you're beyond the weight loss phase, if you feel it's appropriate for you to have alcohol, to have water first or have water with it or right after it to counteract that diuretic effect. Okay, so I think by now, most of you probably have it figured out that drinking water is important. Now, how are you going to get it done? Well, I'll tell you guys, this will be easier than you think it's going to be, okay? This program all runs on structure, okay? So what you want to do is just get a plan in place that's going to get you what you want. So you can see here, for those of you that are watching, if you're listening on the podcast, you could just imagine we have like a 24-hour clock here with times noted for hydration, okay? And so each of those hydration spots would be recommended, like recommending an 8-ounce glass. You might decide you're drinking different sizes, but you can adjust accordingly. So you can see here, if you get up at 7 o'clock, in that first hour, you're getting hydrated. We talked about that, right? Okay, drink your water, then have your coffee, okay? Maybe 2 hours later, hydration again, 2 hours later, hydration, and so on. So just get a plan in place so that you get it accomplished. You might do it based on, maybe you have a 24-ounce water bottle, okay? And you want to drink 3 of those a day. Okay, well, one of them needs to be down by a certain period of time of the day and so on. So work that out. The other tip too, now you certainly can have some water right before you go to bed. But a little tip from a nurse to you is if you drink all of your water in the evening, you're not going to get much sleep at night. I'm allowed to talk about these things, right? Okay. So if you can get your hydration in a little bit earlier in the evening, I think you're going to like the outcome of that. Now, here's the cool thing. Did you know we have a Habits of Health app? And this will make it super easy for you to track. You don't need to be a client of our program to use this, okay? You can just go to wherever you download apps, type in Dr. A's Habits of Health, download the app. It will allow you to track when you're eating, and it will also allow you to track your hydration. And as you move along, you can track other habits as well. So both of those can, either way, whatever it is, get a plan in place so that you can effectively get the water in that you want to consume, okay? Alrighty, so now it's back to you. Here's the thing. Well, did you have fun tonight? Was this helpful? Give me something in the chat box if this was helpful, okay? I'm thinking for some of you, you were learning stuff tonight. But here's the thing. It's really important for you to process and feedback on this, okay? So if you just listen to this call and don't do anything with it, you just had a fun 30 minutes, but didn't really do anything to impact your life, right? Okay, so I'd encourage you to think through, okay, what did I learn today? What do I need to change? What do I need to reflect on? And what am I going to do next? And I'll tell you this, guys, this program runs on structure, but part of the secret of the success of this program is the accountability and the community, okay? So you've been enjoying the Optavia community this evening on this call, all right? But the accountability is important too. So I would encourage you, when you get off this call, go message whoever it was invited you to this call. It might be your coach, it might be a friend, whatever, and say, hey, here's what I learned tonight. I was on that call with Shirley. Here's what I learned, and here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to drink 16 ounces of water instead of 8 today. Okay, set your goals at something that is reachable. So if right now you're only drinking 8 ounces of water a day, please don't drink 64 ounces of water tomorrow. Okay, you'll hate me if you do that. Okay, but if you're drinking 8 ounces of water a day now, maybe you can go to 16 tomorrow. Okay, maybe 2 days later you could increase it to, I don't know, another 8 ounces. Okay, and gradually increase your way up. But get very clear on the actions that you want to take, and then share that again with whoever invited you onto this call. They'd love to hear from you, and they'd love to hear what you were learning. So I'll tell you this, as we start wrapping this up, you want to make sure that you're getting yourself as much support as you can get as you start increasing and improving your habits. And you'll find that when you are working on changing a habit, the more support you can get, the better. I've heard people, I can't even tell you how many times people say to me, yeah, I know what to do, and I'm going to just do this on my own. And I kind of want to say to them, well, how's that been working for you for the past 20 years? So the thing is, anytime you want to improve your health, you want to hang out with other people who have effectively done what you want to do. Okay, so that's why this community factor is important, and that's why it's so very important that you get yourself connected with whoever invited you onto this call to share what you learned, or maybe you have more questions for them. Maybe you want to learn more. So I'd encourage you to dig in a little bit more there so that you really can create the success you want. So, and speaking of support, if you go to the Optavia YouTube channel, you'll find a playlist there that has little short videos that will explain a little bit more about these. They're introductory videos from Dr. A that will explain a little bit more about each element. And you will also find these Habits of Health webinars. There's one for each of the elements so far up through element 10, and we're continuing them on. In fact, next week, I'd encourage you to come back. We'll be covering element 11. We'll be talking about how to eat healthy beyond fuelings, and you guys will not want to miss that. So again, congratulations to you for making your health a priority. So glad you were here to join us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some independent Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some independent Optavia coaches. Optavia makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with Optavia results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the Optavia income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the Optavia team.